Hi, so I wanted to do a little video about my personal experience with Dietpen or Saxenda. I've been taking it for 7 weeks now, I think. Wanted to do it before now really, but I just haven't got around to it, so I thought I would start this week. So my sort of my first couple of weeks experience, if I can go back to then, it's a bit weird getting your head around kind of injecting into your tummy every day, but it doesn't really hurt. Sometimes you don't even feel it. I have found that when you first put the needle sort of just onto your skin, if that pricks, then you know it's going to hurt, so I just move the site a little bit. Maybe it's a little bit close to a nerve or something, so that might be helpful for people to know. The other thing I found is that it's quite important to take it at the same time every day. If I've taken it later, I've sometimes experienced like a little period where I've maybe been a bit more hungry than I normally would have been, or I've wanted to snack and things, so that's quite important. Another good thing that I've found is that it says that some people experience nausea. A side effect that can last up to a couple of weeks with some people, but it was a little tip was given to me by another patient who has used Saxenda in the past, was that if you take it evening time, sort of not right before bed but sort of late evening, that really helped her. So I've done that, and I haven't really experienced any nausea as such. I don't think. I've not had any days where I've felt really sick. I've had some migraines, but I suffer from migraines anyway, and I've been going through a lot of personal stress in my personal life lately. So I spoke to my doctor about it, and they've said that, you know, it's down to stress making my migraines worse. And actually, now that I feel a little bit less stressed and I've had a bit of time to sort of get my head around everything and sort of pull myself together, if you like, and they do feel the migraines have settled right back down. So I don't think that it was linked in any way. So I suppose that's kind of the tips that I would give. I suppose my experience, what did I find from taking Saxenda? I don't know quite what I expected. I expected maybe to feel a little bit less hungry than I normally do. I suppose that's kind of how it was explained to me, and it certainly did. So I started on the starting dose, which is 0.6 milligrams. And kind of the product is licensed to titrate quite quickly up to 3 milligrams a day. My own personal experience of that is that 0.6 milligrams was enough for me for a good month. I went up to 0.9 for a couple of weeks, and then 1.2, and I can honestly say I don't think I would need to go any higher than 1.2 at the moment. That's really suiting me, and I'm losing a couple of pounds a week at this point, so I'm really impressed really. I'm the kind of person who has always found it difficult to lose weight. I've tried all sorts in the past, and I think anybody who knows me will know I go from skinny to quite heavy and then skinny again, and it takes me a good 6 months to a year to lose weight. I have tried Weight Watchers in the past. I have tried Slimming World numerous times, and while I do feel healthy, you know, eating a healthy diet is really important, and that's important with Dietpen and Saxenda as well. I found that I was the person sat in group who everybody else had lost 2, 3, 4 pounds this week, or, you know, 1 or 2 pounds regularly every week. I was the one sat in class who honestly had been doing her best and following the rules and things, and I was the person who'd lost nothing this week, and then £0.5 pound the week after, and then nothing for 2 or 3 weeks. And it's really frustrating if you struggle generally to lose weight. I know last year I lost a stone, and I put it all back on, and a bit more actually, but to lose that stone, I was literally in the gym 4 times a week for an hour and a half to 2 hours every time. I was cardio, I was spinning, I was lifting weights as well, because I know strength is important, so I was doing that, and literally it was taking over my life. My diet became more and more restricted if I wasn't losing what I wanted to lose. You know, if I was having weeks where I wasn't losing weight, it was really frustrating when you're eating well and exercising and doing all the things that you're supposed to do. I found it really frustrating, and I would limit my diet more and more, which obviously isn't really the healthiest way of doing things. So I suppose I'm kind of all or nothing, so I kind of stopped it, and then I put all my weight back on and a bit more. And I know that that's down to me from unhealthy habits, picking on a night with my husband. I'm kind of one of these people who has a propensity to put on weight. I'm not naturally slim. I find it quite difficult to maintain my weight. So I started on the Dietpen, Saxenda. In the first 2 weeks, I lost 9 pounds, which was absolutely amazing. I've never lost so much weight in such a short period of time in my whole entire life. I didn't, because it doesn't work on your metabolism. It's not one of those things that, you know, like these dodgy internet diet pills that will make your heart race, give you heart problems in the future, cause palpitations, cause shakiness and all those kinds of things. You don't get that with Saxenda, because that's not how it works. The Dietpen and Saxenda work by stimulating a hormone that's naturally produced in your gut, in your body, and transmits to your brain that you're feeling full. So this is something that is naturally produced when you have a meal, and you know that sort of 20 minutes, 30 minutes after you've had a meal, when you start to feel the fullness, that's when this hormone is naturally produced. So what you're doing is substituting that with a low kind of level of that, and it kind of, because of the way you take the medication, it's released slowly into your body throughout the day. So I found that I can't eat as much. I'm not as hungry. My portions are much smaller. We went to, actually I shouldn't tell you that I went to McDonald's, but I did go to McDonald's the other week with my husband and my toddler, because my husband had just finished work and we were waiting for him. We wanted to go and see Toy Story 4 with the little one, and we just didn't have time to have tea and then get there. So we went to McDonald's, and my husband had his usual meal, toddler had his little Happy Meal. I ordered a meal and I actually couldn't eat it. That's the first time I think I've ever not been able to eat at McDonald's. Generally, I eat at McDonald's and like an hour, 2 hours, sorry, an hour, 2 hours later, I'm feeling hungry again. But I couldn't, I really struggled. I couldn't eat my chips. I had to, and I was struggling with the burger. By the time I was about halfway through, it was quite a big burger. It was one of those, like a premium, nice juicy burger. About halfway through, I started to feel really quite full, and I struggled and I couldn't finish it in the end. So I suppose that's kind of an idea of kind of how it works. It just makes you that a little bit less hungry, and when you do eat, you kind of, your portions are much smaller. What is important is to make sure that you're getting enough nutrients. You know, when you're not eating as much, it's important, especially important, to make sure you're getting enough vitamins and minerals and things. So supplements, vitamin supplements are recommended in the UK for women of childbearing age anyway. So I've been taking a supplement, just a normal multivitamin, every day, and I've also been really careful to make sure that I'm eating plenty of like fresh fruit and vegetables, and trying to eat, you know, a healthy diet, avoiding kind of processed foods and things like that, which I think has really helped. But in this period, I've also had a weekend away with the girls in Birmingham, so we went shopping. We had Chinese food, we had cocktails and things. Then I went to Turkey on holiday with my family, so we were away at an all-inclusive hotel, and you know what it's like at all-inclusive. There's so many nice things to try, and generally myself, I'm really overindulgent in these places, and there isn't an all-inclusive holiday I've been on where I put on less than half a stone in a week or a stone in 10 days to 2 weeks. Never happened, because it's all just too nice, and I just can't stop myself, really, brutally honest. So we had the holiday. I came back from holiday and I weighed the same as before I'd gone on holiday. So for me, that in itself was a massive win, because that meant that I was already overweight. I hadn't put a load of extra weight on holiday, and I did eat on holiday. I did enjoy the food. I did try and make healthy choices where I could, and I did have a little bit of alcohol as well. Not too much, because we had children with us, but you know, we were on holiday, so there were a couple of gins consumed. And then after that, I was away at a conference in Manchester for a weekend. So again, kind of, my husband came with me. We were away for the weekend. We went out for food. We had some cocktails, and my husband had bought all my favourite snacks, being a lovely husband, for the hotel room. And of course, I had to eat them all. But what I'd done, and I don't know if I subconsciously did it, but I hadn't taken my Saxenda. I took it with me on holiday, like away for the weekend, but I hadn't taken my dose on the evening, and I think that had a massive impact on that weekend. So it's important, really is important, to take it kind of the same time every day, and make sure that you are compliant with it and taking it every day. So to date, so I don't really, I'm kind of getting into a habit with it now as well, and I think they say like a habit takes 12 weeks to form properly. I do feel like I'm getting into a habit with kind of my eating, and you know, making healthy choices. I drink plenty of water, but I always have anyway. I'm a nurse, so I used to get lots of water infections and kidney infections when I used to work in the hospitals, just because you never really got time to drink enough. So on the back of that, my consultant said to me, you know, you must forever be drinking at least 2 litres of water a day. So I do. Always have, so I'm a big water drinker anyway, but I think it's important when you're losing weight, you're getting rid of toxins and things, so it's really important to be drinking lots of fluid anyway, even if it isn't water. No added sugar squash, you know, kind of diet squash, things like that are okay, but you do want to be staying away from kind of sugary drinks, carbonated drinks, tea and coffee, those kinds of things. They're not the right kind of fluid to kind of flush your system out and keep you hydrated and things like that. No caffeine drinks, that sort of thing. I mean, you can have them, I'm not saying you can't have them, but you need to make sure that you're drinking plenty of other fluids to be, you know, flushing all the toxins out. And also, I suppose it helps you feel full, because sometimes you feel hungry and actually you're not hungry, you're thirsty, you're a bit dehydrated. So hydration's always important. And so yeah, I feel like I'm developing good habits. I'm watching my diet. I am still having the odd treat. I think if you adopt a sensible attitude, and kind of make sure that cheat days don't take over. And I'm gonna do a little video on cheat days, actually, because cheat days are really one of the biggest undoing of diets in the world ever. If you're having a cheat day, if you think about a week, and you're being really good, and so all week you've had 1,200 calories for 6 days, and then you have a cheat day, and you don't monitor that cheat day. So on that cheat day, by the time you've had a nice breakfast, you've had a nice dinner, you've had a nice evening meal, you've maybe had a snack, you've had a couple of drinks, you can easily be getting into 3,000 and 4,000 calories without even knowing you've done it. And what you've done there is you've just added those calories and undone everything you've done during the week. So your calorie deficit over the week, which would have been, I don't know, say you were 2,000 calories, say you need 2,000 calories a day, you're 800 short for those 6 days. Well, you've just nearly eaten all of that in one day. So we'll go through that maybe in a bit more detail, but it's important even with cheat days to keep, I do have sort of one treat a week, if you like. We had fish and chips last night. I had a small portion of fish and chips with mushy peas, and I took half of the batter off my fish, and then it was a small portion. So you're still monitoring kind of your calories and things if you're having that little treat, because in real life it's maybe not sustainable to be eating 100% perfect 100% of the time, because we're all human beings, and social things and things like that are always going to come up. That meal out with our partner is always going to come up, that meal out with the girls from work is always going to come up. And I think it's important as well when you're thinking about, if you're thinking about using Dietpen or Saxenda, you're thinking about a lifestyle change, kind of you're looking at improving your health, not just, it isn't just about a crash diet. So that's how you should kind of look at it, something that's sustainable for you as well. So I just thought I'd give you my little insight into my little journey so far. So far I've lost a stone and another couple of pounds off this week, which I was happy with. And in terms of side effects, to recap, I haven't really had any side effects. I think if somebody had told me that there was, and even as a medical professional, if somebody had told me that there was an injection that you could take that would help you with your weight loss, you wouldn't necessarily, some people do experience some mild side effects, but I haven't had any, that would help you achieve your goals. Really quite, for me, I found it really quite straightforward and quite easy. It hasn't been difficult. I would have thought that person was absolutely, you know, it's the kind of thing you wish for, isn't it? I know myself, like, always having a bit of an issue with my weight. It's something that you would never believe, and yet medical science has provided it, and it's actually been licensed for a few years, but nobody really knows about it, because in England the NHS can't provide it. It's not funded. It might be funded in some CGCs in extremely, you know, rare circumstances, but generally it's just not funded, so people don't know about it, and it's such a wonderful thing to help people. I think, you know, the word needs to get out there that, you know, there is help available, and I thought sharing my experience might maybe help some people. So there you go. So thank you very much. Bye.